Hey guys, welcome to Podcast Fandom Premium. I'm your host, Nina.
And I'm Kaylee.
And we are back to discuss Alice in Borderland. We're going to be talking about episodes 5 and 6. And we're going to try to do so without our dog acting like a complete asshole. Wish us luck. So I have very minimal notes for these two episodes. Do you even remember what happened?
Vaguely. I remember.
The beach?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about these episodes in kind of broad strokes because of that fact. Because it wasn't like the other episodes where there were like a game to center the episode around to talk about, if that makes sense. There was just kind of a lot of information gathering and a little bit of world building and the return of your favorite character, who we figured out is the Cheshire Cat.
Because his name is Cheshire, something like that.
And it fits because he's a little manipulative, duplicitous little shitbird.
Yeah.
Okay. So this two block of episodes begin with them not being able to find the beach, which is, I was thinking was a little bizarre because I think we were all thinking the literal beach. So I was just like, well, where do they live in Japan and how far are our coasts, right? Like, why is this so hard? So I thought what we were going to get with these episodes, or at least when they went off to find the beach, was like a expansion of the world, like kind of like Black Summer. Do you know what I mean? Like where they're on the road and they're trying to, and then they're just doing games whenever their visa is up, but they're trying to get to the beach. No. The episode begins with them basically having already been looking and can't find it and deciding that they have to go participate in a game because their visa is up and they don't know what else to do. So it feels like they were like back where they started, except they're camping out like in the park or some shit. And for some weird reason, Arisu would not sleep in the tent with Usagi.
Oh yeah, I saw it as like a
respect.
Yeah, respect kind of thing. He didn't want to sleep next to her if he didn't have to.
These are trying times. I'd have been like, scoot over. I am not sleeping out in the goddamn park. So they have 3 days left on their visa, right? So they start monitoring other players in games, seeing if they can get any answers about like what's going on or where the beach is. And so they determine that there are people playing in teams because they have like these like wristbands on and that they're traveling there by car. So clearly they have access to like diesel running vehicles and gas and stuff like that. And they follow them back and it turns out they follow them back and it turns out the beach is a seaside like resort, like a beach theme hotel resort. And there is a guy named Thehatter kind of running everything and people are partying. And I don't know how they figured this out. Like, I guess they did say that they're not sure if this is actually correct, but what they think is that you have to collect the full deck of cards. Mm-hmm. And so they have this like board up with all the cards, and we learned that nobody has seen a face card game yet.
So they're like not even sure if they exist.
Right.
Which is what we were thinking.
Yeah. Which, Nico. But it does go from ace to 10, right? And the only non-face card... Nico, stop! The only non-face card that they haven't... I'm gonna kill this dog. They have all of the cards except the 10 of hearts. They haven't even seen it yet, right? Okay. But is it me, or did you not realize that they're supposed to keep the cards? Like, how does that even work? Like, if you, for instance, everybody who played the tag game, did they all get that card?
Yeah.
When?
At the end. Because remember at that very first game with the doors, life and death, at the end, that woman walked out, there was a card on the table and she picked it up. That was the card for their game.
So, but only one person gets the card? That's what I'm saying. Like, if you win, because what the beach is saying, what the Hatter is saying, is that they're going to collect a full deck, like 52 deck of cards, and that's how you get to leave. Yeah, they're just supposing, right? And so his thing is, I'm assuming, if I remember correctly, if this is how he explained it, that when they get all the cards, whether it's the 10 plus the face cards or just the 10, that he's the one that gets to go. Mm-hmm. And then they just keep going. And every time they collect, is it just whoever's in charge gets to go? I mean, it's just like a really bullshit setup, because you have all these people going out there competing games and hoarding cards for you to leave. Mm-hmm. And that's just insane. But that's his assumption, right? Mm-hmm. Like, one person gets to leave, so everybody doesn't get cards.
Yeah. But they do keep all the duplicates, too.
Yeah. So, the guy who was in the tag, the one who betrayed his friend, he's there, Arugi. And we learned that there's like two kind of pockets of power. There's the Hatter, who runs everything, and Arugi, who is the head of what they call the Militant, and they have stockpiled all the weapons they've been able to find. So if anybody has a gun in the beach, it's them, militants. And everyone has to wear swimsuits because it stops people from being able to conceal weapons and stuff like that, which is just a bullshit excuse to have women walking around in swimsuits, but okay. And it's just like a big old party, which, you know, pre-COVID, I would have said this is completely unrealistic, but there were people raving and partying and spring breaking, you know, during COVID. So they do have to play a game, but they split them into teams. So like they announce new games. So whoever has a visa is up, they have to go play, but they don't let Usagi and Arisu play together. And her game, it just sounded like she was in like a dark place, like building, and there were numbers on the wall, and she only had like a certain number of matches.
9 matches. And
she had to find numbers on the wall and try to get bingo.
Yeah. It seems to me like,
I really wanted to see that game. I don't know why.
Like it was like multiple rooms. Like you go in one room, and that one room has one number on the wall, and you have to find it. And fill out your card with all the rooms. Like each space is one
I would have been dead. I would have been dead. I don't... It's the match for me.
The match? Like lighting a match?
Mm-hmm. Like keeping it lit. Oh. Like the walking in the wind, and like that would have made it. Oh, yeah. I think that's the hardest part, obviously.
I don't know why, but I thought you were saying you didn't know how to light a match for some reason. I'm like, oh, okay.
I wonder if it's something like, do you remember BTS? There was like an episode of Run BTS where they had numbers or something on a wall, letters or numbers, but they were like raised. Yeah. So like they could feel it with their hands with the lights out, and they have to like correctly guess what the letter or number was by feeling it. So Autosu's game, though, is them trapped in a room with wires and stuff and water filling in, and there's another room with a door that they can control, and there's a light bulb in it, and there are 3 switches that controls the light, and they have to turn the light bulb on when the door is open. They can close the door and light switch when the doors are closed, but you won't be able to see which switch turns on the light, obviously, because the door is closed. And so one of the girls who reports to the Hatter it seems like she figured it out pretty quickly, but she wants Arisu to solve it, and he does by instructing them to close the door. He flicks the switch for A, and he waits and he waits and he waits and he waits. And then have them open the door, and they touch the bulb to see if it's hot. And if it's hot, then you know it's A. So he saves them from dying, but not before some dumbass who right before when they explain the rules, she's like, electricity? And she touches it while standing, like an exposed wire while standing
in water.
In a pool of water. So she dies. What a dumb way to die. So eventually with the next episode, and this is the good shit that I really want to get into. Like I really want to talk about these episodes so we can watch the next one. There's a couple of things. We meet, what's his name? The Cheshire Cat?
Cheshire.
And his sidekick has dreads for no reason.
Do you remember her name?
Nope.
Queen.
Oh, that's right. Queen. That's right. That's right.
Queen of Hearts.
Yeah.
So and she's more important than she seems so far.
Who were the ones that you were saying is like Tweedledee and Tweedledum?
We didn't meet them yet.
Oh, I thought. Oh, you were just saying you wonder if
there's going to be.
Okay, because I was thinking about those two girls who were staring.
Yeah,
they were mean mugging, but now one's dead by the end of this episode.
I don't know. It still could be them. Their names are like Tweedledee and Twiddle.
True. So.
Well, we already know one of their names. I don't remember it, but the girl was yelling out her name when she found her dead body.
So the Hatter has to go. His visa is up, and he goes to participate in a game, and he goes with some of the militants, including that guy whose name
the head of the militants,
Arugi, right? He goes with them, right? He's one of the ones.
That.
But like, okay, but he ends up dying at this game, right? Mm-hmm. And it is so obvious that they killed him.
Yeah.
And I think the girl, one of his girls, is going to figure it out because she pulls the bullet out of his body. Because he wasn't, like, she was like, well, did the game he participated in have guns? Like, how did he, when they bring his body back? But his story was that he had owned a place called The Beach, like some sort of bar or restaurant in this one neighborhood. Yeah, and it was, and he was trying to, like, it failed, I think. And so he was calling this, like, the second beach. Like, this place was his second chance.
I don't know if you were, like, paying attention when it happened, but he was talking about how he would, like, push his employees a lot, I think. And one of them ended up hanging himself.
No, I totally missed that.
Yeah. Like, I think you were, like, out of the room or you looked away when they were talking about that, but one of his employees.
So he was always crazy.
Yeah.
And so in determining who the new leader is going to be, apparently there's a safe that has all the cards that the Hatter had collected so far. And whoever is in charge is the only person who knows the combination code. And so it's sealed in an envelope until they die, or I'm guessing until they would leave. But it sounds like no one's ever left. So this is all like supposition on their part, right? The new leader unseals the envelope, looks at the code, and then puts it in and reseals it. And they seal it with like a wax seal with the ring that the leader wears. It says boss. Mm-hmm. So the Cheshire Cat guy, because I cannot remember his name. Cheshire. He and Queen tell Usagi and Arisu that they have a plan to steal the cards and get the fuck out of there. And they set Arisu up to be the one to break into the safe, but it was a trick. And they ratted him out. And there's this really uncomfortable scene where one of the militant guys is basically about to rape Usagi, which I hated. He kept licking her. That was, There's two things we've been watching that have some, like, so disturbing, like, I can't even look at the screen. And one of them, I kind of got over it after a few episodes. The snot hanging from that girl's nose in Hunter x Hunter. And this. Every time his tongue came out of his mouth, I was just like, oh. It's just, I can't watch scenes like that. It's hard for me to watch stuff like that anyway. But, yeah, so they're going to set them up to take the fall. And when Arisu, when they catch him, what they do to him is really cruel. Do you remember? They leave him in a room all tied up, and they're like, we're just going to leave you here till your visa expires. Yeah. And you just have to sit here and wait until that laser comes on top of your head. That's some mean shit. But they're interrupted because a new game is announced.
And it's taking place
in the beach. Nobody can leave because fucking the Cheshire Cat and Queen thought they were about to dip. Yeah. And they do have the cards.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting if they realize those cards are missing while the game is going on. Because they have 2 hours to find out who murdered this girl. There was two girls that were kind of mean mugging Arisu when they first got there. One of them is stabbed in the chest. And they're like, the witch, who could be a man or a woman, is here at the beach, one of you, and you have 2 hours to figure out who it is and burn them alive. What a fucking game. Like, what did they call this game?
Witch Hunt.
This is just making up shit now.
It's like as we were watching this, I'm like, oh, this very, very much reminds me of Danganronpa. This is like
yes, that type of stuff.
You just come across a dead body and you're like, oh, time to figure out who.
I guess this is kind of like Mafia too, like in terms of a game. But I'm just curious to see how they're gonna. And what's interesting is that they have that short registration period, so everybody had to run and get a phone. Usagi got a phone, but
Arisu
tied up. So I don't know.
Tied up, yeah.
So I don't know if he's just not going to participate, which I guess is fine if he has a visa, he doesn't have to.
His visa runs out that day, though, I think.
Does it? Didn't he get a visa from playing the light bulb game, maybe?
I'm not sure.
But she still runs and plays because she would have gotten a visa too. So maybe some time has passed and yeah. So that's where we stand now. And I know this is a super short podcast, but I feel like there wasn't just like a lot that happened that called for a lot of conversation.
We saw that guy again that we thought, well, you and Daddy thought was dead.
Listen.
The guy with the hat.
You still don't know his name. He don't count.
Yeah. But I was like, we didn't see him die, so I'm pretty sure he's not dead.
He's there. Yeah, you're right. I was wrong. So...
And he's still there, and it was so funny because he was the guy who came across the girl she was performing like brain surgery.
Oh yeah, they sent her to say that something is that we didn't talk about her. She's super smart. She's like performing autopsies and shit.
And you asked me, do you think that's something she knew how to do before she got into the game?
Or she just bored?
I'm like, I don't know. I feel like that's something she has experience with if she's just doing it. Like,
I don't know. I put nothing past these folks. Some of them are crazy. She could be like, you know what?
That other girl that was also at the Hatter, I want to know more about her. I like her.
Because she's crazy.
Yeah,
I know.
And I like her hairstyle.
All right. So that is it. I know, super, super short. But again, I don't feel like a super lot happened. I think next week's podcast will be a lot longer. We're going to dive into these next 2 episodes. I think they're the last 2 episodes, right? And then we're starting Sweet Home. It's our next podcast. Yeah.
I think it's already... Oh, no. I keep thinking of...
Sweet Tooth?
Yes. I'm like, you guys already did that. Why am I doing that? It's like, yes.
It's like punishment.
I'm excited for Sweet Home. I'm not interested in watching Sweet Tooth. That's why I was like,
Sweet Home, Sweet Home. So, thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys had a really nice Christmas and holiday season, I should say, whatever you celebrate. And Happy New Year. Yeah, happy holidays. Okay, we'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.